Domo, welcome everybody. It's me back on my usual shit. This is me. I put it. It's like this. How do I sound? Um, this. I plugged in the new cable. I threw the old cable in the trash because it was garbage. So how do I sound? Do I sound clear? Do I sound perfect? Okay, absolute fantastic. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah. It's a lot sturdier. Like I jangled some things just to test it out, and it's like it doesn't like get messed up like the old one did. Funny enough, when I was looking into the old one, it didn't even look like I could even buy it anymore. It redirected to a different one, and so I bought the different one. This is like the 2.0 of the shitty version I bought. It's like they realized, oh yeah, that rubbery little USB part is gonna cause problems, so they made it plastic, and it's very solid now, so it shouldn't fall off anymore. So no more static, hopefully. Yippee! Yeah, sound like a Hans? Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, Tavial bite dirt. Hopefully not. Um, but yeah, I'm still streaming through Atom, just hoping that Restream fixes itself eventually. Next week, I'm not dual streaming, cause I have big plans, and there's stuff that would be better to just do exclusively on Twitch, so, to my YouTube people, hello, and also follow me on Twitch. But yeah, so let's start by going over what we did last time and what I did since that stream last week, and then we can proceed from there. All right, so last week we went over some names. Poison. Yeah, it's like I remember with I used to have spraying bitter spray stuff, and I sprayed it on stuff, so he doesn't bite cables anymore. It's like he learned, oh, cables taste gross. I'm not gonna bite those. I'll bite worms and other stuff instead. And of course, as soon as he literally charged into the room, screaming at me like, "You talking shit about me?" But yeah, last week we started writing chapter 1. But as you can see, I wrote 2 chapters. I finished chapter 1 and I put up chapter 2. In fact, I should probably post the links so we can all be on the same page here. Bop. Oh yeah, tinfoil. It's like I've used tape. I've used double-sided tape. With like that's how I got him to stop climbing all over my dresser because I have like little ceramics on it. He broke a couple, but I just used Gorilla Glue to fix it. But yeah, so to review, with chapter 1, we did write the opening cutscene. I just edited a little bit of it, not much. It's about the same as where we left off. I'm not gonna read. I'm not sure if I should read all of the rest of chapter 1. I think I'll just give you guys a summary, because if you want to read it for yourself, you can just click on it and read it yourself, and I'll just read chapter 2. But TLDR, he wakes up in the hospital. It's like there's a girl there that greets him, and he's like, oh, she's cute. And then, it's like, of course, all these people keep coming in. Let's see. He's like, yeah, sir, are you a nurse? She's like, no, I just like to read books because, she's a nurse. And then a little girl comes in, the Angelica character we were talking about before. And she's like, oh, I thought it was going to be some kid I could bully. I mean, boss around. I mean, help. So I'll go back to the babies. And it's like, all right, Pog. And then Chaz, our basketball guy we talked about last time, Russell's new best friend. We talked about him last time. Basically, he's going to be helping him around. He's going to show him to his room. They might play basketball together at some point eventually. They're going to be buddies. So TLDR, he woke up in the hospital, and it's like he obviously feels like shit because, he was burned to a crisp in the desert. And now he's all good. So chapter 2. Chapter 2 is a lot longer. I kind of messed up with this one. Yeah, he was a crispy chicken. He was a water pistol. Nah, they don't like the water. Because it was like, when I write a chapter, I kind of have an idea of the things that are going to happen in the chapter. The problem is, I don't know how long it's gonna take to write that chapter. Um, so I was like, so it wound up being longer than I expected because my idea was he walks around and, Chaz is showing him around. He goes to the kitchen, he eats some food, and then after he eats some food and trauma dumps a little bit, he goes to get his measurements and get his photo taken. Because obviously, with so many kids at this place, they got to keep track of all the kids. Because for those of you that just got here, the idea is that this is during this. It's like we're in a war-torn area. People be dying, kids be left without any parents. So someone's got to take care of the kids. So this is what Nevertown more or less is. It's like a little sanctuary for them. So it's like my idea for trying to organize all these kids is to have a billboard. I might even try to draw it. I might stream me drawing it like in the future. When, I can't tell you exactly, but it's on my to-do list. Simply because there's going to be so many kids. There's going to be like 17 kids. Because that's just how I planned it. That's just how it is. I know I could have less kids, but that's how many kids that I wound up coming up with. It do just be like that. That's just how my brain works. So that's something to look forward to, is watching me with my really shitty drawing skills draw all these kids to emulate the billboard. So you could have a big detail that'll not only narratively give the kids a TLDR of who's who and keep track of everyone, but also give the reader a TLDR of who's who of everyone. Yeah, exactly. My brain shitted. It's to prevent all the brain shittings and fartings. Exactly. So yeah. I'll read you guys chapter 2, since I kind of gave you the context, and we can kind of go over your thoughts on it, and then after that we can either come up with more names for the kids, because we still have some names to go. We still have to come up with names for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 more kids. It's like we can either do that, or we could just go straight into writing for chapter 3. Whatever you guys feel like doing at that point. Let me drink some water, and then we'll get started, I guess. I'll blow my nose, too. It's like my brain's dripping out of my nose for trying to word vomit so much. All right. The next day, Russell was feeling much more invigorated despite how sore his body still felt. There was no way he could simply sit around twiddling his thumbs all day, especially when his mind was flooded with nothing but curiosity of this new place. After applying his sunburn treatment and getting Melinda's approval, Melinda is the name of the girl that was there when he woke up, and it was like, ooh, cute girl. Yeah, the sniffer. It's like, I have a sniffer emote now. He got his new buddy Chaz to walk with him outside and show him around. He did have to lean on him. He did have to lean a little on him for support since his legs were wobbly, but Chaz insisted he didn't mind at all. Yeah, there you go. We're all used to carrying each other around here, Chaz said. No one's gonna judge you. As soon as Russell stepped into the light, he quickly noticed how plain and gray the buildings in the area were. They were all one floor and rectangular with few differences between them, and it would be easy to get confused if it weren't for the signs and pictures on them. Regardless, they were definitely thick and sturdy, likely to handle most potential threats that might come their way. If it wasn't for the distinct chapel in the distance standing out alone in wide, empty space, he could have thought this was a storage or military facility. Yeah, Dalmaviator, welcome, like just in time. I just started reading chapter 2, so perfect timing. So my idea, it's like, so I thought about it with the kids. Yeah, it's like extra thick walls. Yeah, because again, this is an area where they could get bombed at any time. So The idea that the walls are thick and sturdy and could hold off like an earthquake or a flood or anything like that, that was the main idea. And I thought about it and I'm like, a lot of these kids might not be able to read, especially depending on the language. It's like, for the sake of the narrative, for the sake of suspension of disbelief, we're just gonna say everyone can understand each other. They all speak English, which I know is crazy considering, like I said, this is meant to be like a Middle Eastern-esque area. But again, I don't think anyone's gonna question it. Yeah, these kids would be very mad if they could read. Yeah, exactly. But regardless, so what I thought was, if you wanted to have all these kids going to all these different buildings and knowing which building's which when they all look exactly the fucking same, I thought, well, probably the best way to teach kids very quickly, regardless of language or reading skill, is to just use pictures. Because any kid can understand a picture, especially once they pair that picture with an association. Like, for example, the place where you get soup has the soup picture on it. The place where you wash your clothes and do your laundry has like a picture of a shirt on it. Like stuff like that. What's with the buildings, Russell asked. This doesn't really look like a town. Mr. Santo got whoever he could to build the best stuff, Chaz answered while scratching at his head. I don't know the details. Something about concrete enforced with steel and fiber cement. Yeah, I literally Googled, like, what was the most, like, sturdy stuff, and that was the answer, so I just put that in there. Like, yeah, something about concrete and steel and fiber cement, you know. There was that name again. Mr. Santo was the one who saved me, right? Chaz nodded. Yep, he sometimes drives around to help people. If it's an adult, he drives them to the nearest town. If it's a kid or two all by themselves, they come here. Almost Sleepy, welcome. How you doing? Yeah, apparently it takes some time for some kids to read letters as sounds, pictures or no pictures. Yeah, exactly. It's like, especially if they have like a reading disability or anything like that. So, and it's like if they're and some places don't even teach phonics anymore. So, yeah, no, you bring up a very good point, Sleepy. Very good point. Yeah, so Russell tilted his head, having trouble understanding this logic. Why? Isn't there an orphanage or something? Or you could turn them to the police. Yeah, they updated the ABC song? Oh no. Yeah, hook on phonic. Yeah, exactly. If you hear a bell in the background, I'm trying to contain Kitty. He is being a little menace. Yeah, the kids can't read, just like Chaz. For real, for real. Chaz scowled, and his friendly tone turned bitter as he said, The police don't give two shits about us. If we don't got family to contact, they toss us back on the streets to fend for themselves. He puffed air out of his nostrils as he composed himself, like, As for orphanages, there are none. This is the closest we've got. The LMNOP was a problem, apparently. Yeah, it's like, you hear a lot of kids, like, slur that, like, LMNOP. Like, they say it really fast. LMNOP. So yeah, again, I'm trying to, it's like, the main point of this chapter is answering the biggest questions a reader would have. Which would be, why the fuck isn't he just turning these kids to the police? Like, why is he bothering with a sanctuary? And Chaz just straight up answers, like, yeah, they don't give a shit about it, about the kids. Like, the police in this place, they don't care. And there's no orphanages as an area, so yeah. There's the answer to the big question of why. It's like why would this be the way it is? Because I know that's going to be a question people will ask. So there you go. Seeing that this was a sour no for Chaz, Russell decided to change the subject. Okay, so what is this place? I haven't seen a single adult since I got here. As they were walking and talking, all they could see were children and teenagers. They were running around, playing, carrying crates, feeding chickens out in the fields, laughing, arguing, and everything else except stand around idly. Overall, they all appeared to be happy. It seemed like a kid's paradise. Yeah, there are adults, Jazz says, breaking Russell out of his thoughts. But it's just Mr. Santo who lives here. The rest come and go as much as they're needed. I see. So how does he manage it then? Watching over all these kids has gotta be a nightmare. Oh, you bet it is, Jazz chuckled. We got a system, though. Took some trial and error, but we figure it out as we go. But for the most part, we all know we'd be dead meat without Mr. Santo, so we do everything he says. Again, if you know anything about like running a daycare or being a teacher in a classroom, you know how kids can be. So answering another big question of, okay, first, why? And then second question, how? Now, it's like Chaz is just giving him the brief TLDR. I do plan on expanding in later chapters more about what's going on. Obviously, this is only chapter 2, but it's just a little sprinkle, just a little preview. It's like, so, you know. Russell opened his mouth to inquire on this, yet his stomach interrupted him with a loud grumble. Oh, that's right. He was living off an IV drip for a while now. He needed real food in him if he wanted to properly recover. Chaz playfully patted his back and said, Come on, I'll show you to the cafeteria. Nina should be almost ready with lunch. Russell nodded and followed him to the building with the big soup sign labeled cafeteria. They, like I said, the big soup sign. This is the place where you get the soup. He was hit with a nostalgia for school, seeing the big tables and chairs neatly lined up to seat numerous people. He wondered what his friends back home were up to. Did they even know he was alive? There was a good chance he was never going to see them again, and that knowledge formed a lump in his throat he forced back down. This wasn't the time to cry. Not yet. It's like, yeah, obviously he's had a lot happen, but once things start to settle down, you start to think to yourself, you're like, oh God, I'm going to be here, I'm probably never going home. I'm probably never seeing my family. I might never see my family again. I might never see my friends again. It's like, that kind of dawns on you after a while, because you're in a place, because it's like, he's in this place, and he was just traveling with his parents, and they blew up and died, and, and it's like, wait a minute. It's like, it's one of those things, like, you think when you're, like, reading isekai. Like, with isekai, it's like the dude died, and then he winds up reincarnated in a world, and you're like, why does the guy never question it? Why does the guy never get homesick or anything? You almost never see a guy in an isekai think to himself, wow, I'm stuck here, and I'm never going home. I'm never going to see my loved ones ever again. You never see that in isekai. So I'm like, that's just something you got to think about sometimes. It's like, how, if you were in that position, how would you feel? There was a divide between the kitchen and the rest of the area, with a window full of trays to fill food into with ease. They entered the kitchen to see a girl their age cooking on the stove, along with Angelica, the little 9-year-old from the previous chapter, wagging her finger at 2 younger boys covered in eggshells and goo. Yeah, it's supposed to be escapism. Yeah, I know. Like, I know that's why they don't do it, because people don't actually care about what the protagonist's life was like before he got isekai. They just care that they have powers over 9,000, and it's like a video game. I know, but the adult in me can't help but ask questions. I know. Like, I told you to quit messing around! Angelica scolded them like a stern parent. You can't waste good eggs! They're not water balloons! We could have eaten that! Sorry, the 2 boys mumbled with their heads down. It's fine. We have enough of the egg salad, the cook said, never taking her eyes off the stove. Wash up and get the buns ready. Yes, chef, the 3 children replied in unison with a salute, then went straight to following orders. Russell was impressed, to say the least. He could tell she took her work very seriously. Her white tank top, brown cargo pants, and tied-up blonde ponytail gave him tomboy vibes. What stood out the most, however, was her arms. Both had been replaced with cold black machinery that moved and flowed with precision and accuracy. She used them with as much expertise as any other tool in the kitchen. Almost each, welcome, how you doing? Trying to do appreciate what shows do mention it, like Slime or Mushoku Tensei when he says he doesn't want to go back. Yeah, I know. Especially with like Mushoku Tensei, it's like he really fucked up in his previous life. It's like, so it's like it's by learning the mistakes he made in his previous life that he can try to do better in his new life, but he still fucks up anyway. And then he can't get hard, you know. But yeah, you know. The average victim of Truck-kun is a 30 to 40 plus Japanese salary man who'd rather not be alive, it seems. Yeah. It's like, oh man, now I can't. It's like I'm in a fantasy world with all these pretty girls instead of having to go to my 9 to 5 job. Oh no, whatever will I do? It's like, I hope I said your name right, Zeech, or is it Zelch? I'm reading it like Z. I'm not sure how to read the ones if it's like Zelch. But yeah, Stoma, welcome. Oh, Domo Road Dog, welcome. There's one called Ari Ferretta where the protagonist is actively trying to get home. Ari Ferretta. I don't think I've seen Ari Ferretta. It's like I always get the Japanese names mixed up. Ari Ferretta. Okay, I haven't seen that one actually. All right, so there are ones that go over it. All right, that's good to know. Those are just the ones that aren't super popular. Yes, hello, happy to be here, and so true. Yeah. Yes, welcome. From commonplace to strongest. Yeah, not to say it that way. It's like, now I recognize it. I haven't seen it. I've just heard of it. But yeah, here's when we get into the sci-fi, more of the sci-fi stuff with the cold black machinery. It's like her arms have been replaced with machinery. She's got bionic arms. Because it's sci-fi. It's like, there's your sci-fi. We're in the future. Ha ha ha. I hear Z and Zilch, and either is fine. Okay, I can go with Z then. Or Zilch. We'll see which one I naturally gravitate to. Ari Fruetta is like a horror show instead of Happy Place. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no wonder they want to get out of there. It's like, there's no hot girls here. Yo, Nina, Chaz greeted with a small wave. How's the burgers coming along? They're coming, Nina replied plainly. Russell could smell the rich, meaty burgers from here, and he had to swallow his saliva to stop himself from drooling. Nina turned off the stove and slid the meat patties onto a large tray. The children returned with small buns wrapped in bags, and he realized they were making sliders to pair with the bowl of egg salad on the side. So apparently I was Googling it, and sliders are more of an American thing. But sliders are like little burgers. If you've ever been to White Castle, there you go. Wow, it really is like school, Russell said out loud. My parents owned a chain restaurant, Nina explained while she worked with the kids to put the burgers together. I've known how to make a lot of food for a lot of people since I could read a recipe. Ever heard of Mr. Pepper's Pepper Chicken? Russell shook his head. It sounded like one of those niche chains you might have a friend or two recommend, but he wasn't sure. What's today's activity? Well, right now I'm just reading chapter 2 to get your guys' thoughts and feedback. And then either we can go over more names for kids, or we can jump straight into writing chapter 3, whichever you guys want to do. Either way, we'll write more of chapter 3. It's just a matter of, do you guys want to come up with more names or not? I came up with more names on my own. As you'll see in this chapter, I named a lot of kids for this chapter. But yeah, it's like, just casually dropping some exposition for Nina. But wait, again, so it's like the main point of this chapter is you're going to see a lot of kids introduce themselves and maybe say something about themselves. But it's going to be expanded later because we're only on chapter 2. So they're just going to be like, hi, my name is this. Here's my one quirky fact about me. And then later on, you can learn more about them. Yeah, best I got in my country is a Subway. Imagine having a burger joint. Yeah, right? Most common names I hear are biblical, like Sarah Ruth. Yeah. No, it's like it's cliche, but I like to go with names that have meaning to the character. So quirky, ooh woo. Yeah, it's like with Nina, it's like she knows how to cook. And that's her thing. She's the chef. And she basically just explains in a couple sentences, like, yeah, my parents owned a restaurant. That's how I know how to cook. There you go. Boom. Done. Russell shook his head. Wait, I read that already. Nina glanced over at Russell and gave him an inviting smile that lit up her sky blue eyes. Go on and sit down. I'll make you a plate. I like when stories intro simple. When they lore dump, I lose focus. Later when we learn more. Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's why it's like for the first couple of chapters, I know people are gonna have a lot of questions. So my goal for the first for the first 3 chapters especially is just introducing everyone and answering any really big questions, but then going further into detail later, because this is going to be like 15 chapters. So my goal is to have everyone introduced within the first 5 chapters, and so you'll have like 10 other chapters to get to know everyone. So why dump exposition for everything in like the first chapter? Yeah, renamed to John Main Girl. John Main Girl, John protagonist. As he went to go sit down at a table, another teenage girl entered the cafeteria. So that's that's another teenage girl, causing one of the boys from earlier to happily run over to her and jump into her arms. Angelica was right behind him with a proud grin on her face. Hi, Miss Manoa! Angelica greeted in a sing-song voice. Jermaine was a very good helper today. I'm glad to hear that, Winnoa replied while ignoring Jermaine tugging on her afro bun. When he saw that wasn't going to get him any attention, he started playing with his own little black curls that stuck out like hedgehog quills. You can answer questions and deliver lore, but kind of wrap it ham like a dog that needs medication. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's like I could say she has an afro bun. He has little black curls. But by like slipping it in, like you picture it's like him tugging on her bun, him playing with his hair. It's like it gives you a better visual, and it feels more natural than just saying they look like this, they look like that. Sometimes you have to do that, but it's like the more you can naturally slip it in, the better. But sometimes it seems a little forced, like obviously saying her an inviting smile that lit up her sky blue eyes. Like, yeah, obviously I want to say her eyes are blue, and so I had to say, yeah, like kind of forcefully shove the sky blue in there. Had to shove in that adjective, but you know, it do just be like that sometimes. Yeah, actions tied to the information makes it more digestible. Exactly, Heavy Aether. Exactly. That's what I try and do with my writing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You just gotta go with the flow sometimes. Yo, Winnie, over here! Chaz shouted to her with a hand raised up. This certainly caught her attention, her eyebrows furrowing as she stomped over to where they were with Jermaine still securely in her arms. I told you I don't like being called Winnie. It's Winnoa. Chaz awkwardly tried to laugh it off. Right, yeah, my bad. She rolled her eyes and shifted her attention to Russell, her voice much more friendly towards him. Hey, you're new, right? I'm Winnoa Williams, and this is my brother Jermaine. Say hello, Jermaine. Jermaine gave Russell a meek hand wave, and Russell returned the favor. There were going to be a lot of new names he was going to have to get familiar with. Maybe you should keep notes. Like showing a little self-awareness. Before you ask, we're not related, Chaz said with his hands behind his head. Not that I'd want to. I'm pretty happy being a Kemp. Yeah, so in Chaz's description, I also mentioned that he had like what do you call it? How did I describe it? I already forgot the name of the haircut I gave him, but it's a very typical it's a typical haircut for a guy for a black male. Flat top, that was it. It's like when I was trying to Google the name for it, and I'm pretty sure it's called a flat top, where it's like it sticks up, but then it's like shaved at the top. So it's like So it's like, if you remember those, like, rappers from, like, the 90s, it looks a little like that. Maybe not as exaggerated, though. Let's see, now where was I? Like, I'll stop bouncing around, I just wanted to explain that. That sass got him a nice foot stomp from Winnoa, and Chaz grit his teeth to hold back screaming. Pretty confident, too, for someone who's only been here for a year, Winnoa said, then proceeded to sit herself and her brother down across from them. But enough about him. Tell us about yourself. So actually, a flat top, is it with a space? When I looked it up, it didn't have a space in it. But I don't know. Russell said. Russell Balder. He lowered his gaze as he thought about where to even start. My parents and I were supposed to go to Glamour for a conference. My mom was, that internal monologue, was a biologist, and my dad an engineer. It was an important meeting, and I wanted to come with them to see for myself how they were gonna help make the world a better place. But then that happened. His breathing hitched and his throat tightened as images of the incident flashed before his eyes. The sound of the explosion, the sight of their scorched, desecrated corpses, the smell of burnt rubber and leaking oil, the feeling of coarse sand taking into his skin. Was this real? Was he sure he wasn't there and this was all some crazy dream? He was dying under unrelenting heat and it was cooking his brain alive and, hey! The hand on his back snapped him out of his nightmare. It came from his right side, which confused him because Chaz was sitting to his left. He lifted his head to see it was Nina. I gotta fix that. It was Nina, who at some point had come over with his plate of food. Like flat on the top of the haircut. Yeah, so that's what I put. It was a flat top. So yeah, as you can see, he just had a fucking PTSD attack, the first of many. So of course, to picture it, it's like, you know, the sound, the sight, the smell, the feeling. It's like, did I make it pretty obvious? Yes. But you know, it's like, it's to give you that flashback of where he was just a chapter ago. Like, oh yeah, that was terrible. Yeah, we love PTSD flashbacks. Loki, I wish I listened to chapter 1. I have no idea what's happening, but it feels like I'm in a big moment. TLDR, our main character, Russell, was dying in the desert because his family got attacked by bandits. And he was laying there dying for quite a while. He got sunburnt, like, it was pretty bad. But Mr. Santo, our other main character, came in and saved him and brought him to the sanctuary. That was more or less chapter 1, and that's what we wrote in the last stream, and then I finished it off by having to wake up in the hospital and be like, where the fuck am I? And so now we're here. Yeah, it's like nice use of sensations. Yes, thank you. Yeah, serving lunch on the hair. Yeah. Yeah, so food. Shit. Russell cursed to himself. Sorry. I did post a link. I could post it again. Maybe I should pin it. I can find my own. Of course, OBS is like, no, you're not allowed to pin things. What? Why would you pin something? Yeah, I'll pin it. There we go. That way, if you want to catch up, you can follow along. There you go. That should do it. No worries, man, Chaz said while putting his hand on his shoulder. We've all been there, so we get it. My parents were also attacked by bandits, Winnoa said, clenching her fists as she recalled the painful memory. All I could do was pick up my baby brother and run. The last thing I heard was my mother's screams as they butchered her with machetes. I felt so powerless. At least you protected your brother, Russell said. All I managed to do was jump away in time, and I was lucky to even be able to. Same, actually. Chaz said. I happened to be sitting next to the emergency exit when my bus was about to fall off a cliff. He let out a deep sigh. Sometimes it's all about luck. Maybe if I prayed we traveled safe instead of praying to win the game, they would have. Okay, enough! Nina interrupted, sensing the growing, glooming atmosphere. We could talk about that stuff after we eat. The food's going to get cold. Yeah, so it's like, everybody's having PTSD! Yippee! It's like, one that always sucks me into the moment are always the tactile descriptions or sensations. Really helps with the immersion. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's like, the more descriptions you can give, the better. It's like, I don't like flowery language, so it's like, I try to be to the point. It's like, I try to write it out like it's a scene, like you can picture in your head. So it's like, all right, what's the most important things you need to know about what's going on? It's like, what's the place look like? What's everyone doing? You know, that sort of thing. So the more you could describe without going too crazy, the better. Yeah, everyone's having PTSD, but Nina's like, not right now. We can all trauma dump in another chapter. Russell knew she was right, and his stomach agreed with her, so he focused on the plate she brought him instead. As expected, it was a very simple lunch with one slider and a heaping helping of egg salad. He took it slow and bit into a corner of the slider, because, he's been on an IV drip, and his taste buds nearly cried with joy knowing it was as good as it smelled. Sorry I can't get you a real burger, Nina said. We don't have cows yet, so we're limited on how much beef we can use. It's a question of, do they have cows here? The answer is, no, they don't have cows here. Cows are actually a lot to take care of. It's like, I was Googling farm animals, and cows are kind of up there in terms of difficult animals because they need a lot of space and stuff. It's like, bottom tier, obviously chickens. Chickens are easy. Rabbits are pretty easy. Ducks are pretty easy. So expect to see those in a future chapter. It's like so easy, a baby can do it. It's okay, Russell replied before taking another bite. It's delicious. Exactly, gotta keep it accurate. That's why I try my best to Google stuff. I can't always get it 100% accurate. I might Google something, and then it turns out what I Googled was either wrong or didn't elaborate or something, but I try. I go with what I can find. Nina beamed, clearly content with the results. Not long after, everyone else was getting their plates and started to eat. By the time Russell got to his egg salad, the cafeteria was full of kids chatting and munching their food. He noted that under the creamy, smooth eggs were some tiny diced vegetables. Gotta get that nutrition in there somehow, he supposed. It's like grammar could be a little hard outside dialogue. With dialogue, you could have the characters talk however you want, but it's like when you're trying to do like internal monologue while also having the grammar correct, it could sound a little weird. Usually someone would say like gotta get that nutrition, but it's like for the sake of grammar, it's got to. So stuff like that happens sometimes. Kind of like how someone might say way to go instead of way to go, because it's like, how do you type that out? Yeah, it's the thought that count, which is great. Yeah, of course, yeah. Suddenly the cafeteria fell silent when one final person entered the building. Russell looked away from his meal to see who it was, and his dark brown eyes widened in shock. He recognized that silhouette anywhere. He could never forget those pale blue eyes so full of compassion under that black, majestic mane. It was him, the man who saved his life, the man who saved all of their lives. A loud burst of voices followed, all of them cheerfully calling for Mr. Santo to come sit with them. The man remained calm and ignored the voices in favor of sitting at Russell's table instead, much to the children's disappointment. They seemed to get over it quickly, though, and activity resumed as if nothing happened. He rolled back the sleeves of his white ankle-length robe, placed his hands on the table, and greeted Russell with a serene smile. I'm glad to see you're awake and about, the man said. How are you feeling? Good, sir, Russell answered, stumbling over his words. I should be better in a week. From being crispy chicken. The man nodded his head. Yes, that's what Miss Booker told me. It's Russell, correct? My name is Santo Sinward. But as I'm sure you've noticed, the children like to call me Mr. Santo. It's just easier, you know? Chaz interjected with a shrug. Santo chuckled in response. I never said it was a problem. You can call me whatever you like. Anyway, Ayako is going to need your picture and measurements, so I would like to ask you to head there after you eat. What for? Russell asked. Well, she has to make you proper clothes. You can't walk around in a hospital gown forever, after all. As for your picture, it will be placed on a billboard along with everyone else so we can keep track of who is who. Ah, got it. That would be convenient. Russell made a mental note to find the billboard later. Actually, maybe he should do what maybe he should do what Santo told him to right away. He did finish eating, and he didn't want to be in the way. Some other kid who needed Santo's time could take his spot. It's like, suddenly feeling a little insecure, like, oh god, this beautiful, majestic man is sitting on my table, oh god. He looked to Chaz, who was about done with his plate, and asked, Can you take me over to Ayako now? Now? Chaz spat out in surprise before swallowing his food. Okay, man, sure. Alright, I'll see you two later then, Santo said as he watched him get up to leave. Right when they were about to walk to the exit, their path was blocked by a new child Russell hadn't seen yet, and the sight of this one nearly caused him to gasp. For a moment, he thought he had almost bumped into a walking corpse. The right side of the child's head was concaved, so what remained of his short black hair was parted to the left. His large brown eyes bored into Russell as his wide nose let out a deep puff like an angered bear about to pounce. It's like, oh shit. Oh, don't mind Roshi, Santa said with a light laugh, then waved the child over. Come here, my son. I'm sure you're starving. The pudgy boy forcibly pushed around the two to sit where Russell had been, which made him relieved that he had made the right choice. He could always talk with Santo another time. His current priority should be to settle in. And then at this point I realized this chapter was getting really fucking long, so I cut the bullshit and immediately jumped to him seeing Ayako. It's like, I figured there was no point in me saying, like, he left the cafeteria and then went to the building. It's like, you already know that he's gonna do that, because that's what he said he was gonna do. So I was like, for the sake of brevity, moving forward to meeting Ayako, he initially thought he was looking at an older version of Angelica. They both shared the same almond-shaped black eyes, except Ayako had her black hair cut in a bob with round glasses framing her face. Exactly, you don't have to include superfluous details. Like, you know, he said, I want to go see Ayako, so they left. I respect that. Sometimes things can be handled with readers' theater of mind. Exactly, so I was like, you know what, we'll just skip to him going to her. Because this chapter's already getting really long. It's like, I want to keep the chapters under 3,000 words. And I think this clocked in at like 2,600. I was like, I gotta wrap this up. The main reason why I want to keep, it's like, the contest wants it to be like 1,000, 1,500 words. And I'm sure I can get away with having it be like around 2,000, but 3,000 is probably going to be pushing it. So that's why it's like, I'm going to keep it under 3,000 just to play it safe. Yeah, her eyes narrowed and she noticed Russell gawking at her and said, No, we're not related. I'm Japanese and Angelica's Chinese. Really doing a good job making first impressions. Then again, the fact that he had heard this twice now meant the other kids had made the same mistake. Probably multiple times. Kids are dumb like that. It was the parents' responsibility to teach him the difference. He let the silence talk for him so Ayako could get her job done as soon as possible, trying not to flinch too hard from the flash when she took his picture. Getting to read that billboard couldn't come sooner enough. Chapter 2 for my book is also a little long too. Yeah, it's like I did notice it was like 20 pages. I was like, ah! Domo Cosmic, welcome. Yeah, no problem. I just finished reading chapter 2. For everyone. So I don't know if you've read it in advance. So yeah, it's like final thing to say before I summarize what happened in chapter 2. You still need to read? Okay, that's fair. So, something about kids, because kids say the darndest things, and I've seen this with actual kids, is kids are dumb. They don't know any better. And that does mean they are going to say things that people might know is offensive, but kids don't know that. It's the parents' responsibility to teach them that the thing they're saying is insensitive. So obviously, the reason why Winnoa and Chaz, both being black, would say we're not related, while Ayako knows Angelica's all over the fucking place, being Angelica. So she probably put two together, like, oh, Russell probably thinks I'm related to Angelica somehow because we look similar. We're both Asian, but I'm Japanese and she's Chinese. So obviously you can put two together where they've probably experienced kids coming up to them and being like, "Are you two brother and sister?" I'm having to be like, "No, we're not related. And they'll be like, "Oh, but you look the same." It's like, because they don't know, they're dumb. Yeah, they are Maxo Dumbo. So it's like So I kind of just put it in there to be like, yeah, these are their nationalities, and kids are dumb. And of course, the reader doesn't know either. It's like the reader doesn't know if they're related or not, especially if the person describing them says, "Oh, they look similar." Then the reader might think, "Oh, so are they related if they look similar?" And then the answer is no. Yeah, I take it that it happened too many times where it became needed. Exactly. That's the idea being conveyed across. So it's like, yeah, what was I gonna say? Lost my train of thought. Well, just summarize everything. So TLDR, Cosmic. So Russell recovered at least well enough to start walking around. Chad showed him around. They went to the cafeteria. Russell had a PTSD episode, and that led to everyone else trauma dumping just a little bit. And then we got to see Mr. Santo and everyone losing their shit over how cool he is. So yeah. And he's gonna get his measurements, because obviously you need clothes for the kids. That's Ayako's job. Again, it'll be expanded later, but Ayako's job is that she's the tailor. She gets the kids' measurements, and she sets it up so that the kids will have clothes that fit them, especially factoring in the environment. Phone rang? What phone? Clothes to sphinx their bodies with torn dip and feathers. Knock. Oh yeah, the PSD. No, the PTSD came from like what I have him trigger. It's like, oh yeah, one of the characters, Winnoa, asked him to tell him about himself, and it's like, by being like, yeah, tell us about yourself, he had to fucking explain everything that happened. Like, my parents and I were supposed to go to Glamour. My mom was a biologist. And then by like explaining what happened to him, he got triggered. The phone thing, I'm keeping in the back of my head. That probably will be addressed in a later chapter, but not yet. Yeah, once the mandatory fan service edgy scene. It's like, never. Well, actually, maybe next chapter, actually. Now I think about it. Has anyone asked the masks aid the teenagers facility since there are no adults? Excellent question, Heavy Aether. That will be expanded on another chapter. Russell already asked. He's like, I haven't seen any adults here. Where is it? Yeah, I haven't seen a single adult here. And Chad says, yeah, there are adults, but it's just Mr. Santo who lives here. The rest come and go as much as they're needed. Exactly. It's like, tell me about yourself. And he's like, it's like making that exact face. Oh my goodness. It's like, ugh. But yeah, it will be expanded on in a future chapter that like, it's like, I'll spoil it a little bit now, but Russell is going to be the oldest character in this place. Ironically, he's the newest, but he's the oldest. That's some nice little irony for you. He is that everyone else is from 3 to 16. Should have named him Red Hero. Close enough. So there's a mystery to unravel about the age. Oh, absolutely. You are right on the ball, Heavy Aether. That is going to actually be very important. It's like that is going to be a very important theme to this story, is the ages of the children. And they did explain, and again, I did explain that he does pick up kids that are all by themselves, only kids that are all by themselves and have like no parents or anyone to watch over them. Where did I write that? Yeah, if it's an adult, he drives them to the nearest town. So the question of, does Mr. Santo take in any adults to the sanctuary? The answer is no. He only takes kids. So of course you're going to think in the back of your head, only kids? That's a little weird. Of course you're going to think that. But then it's like, Ted's going to be like, oh, he does it because the police don't give a shit about us. He's trying to help us out, you know. But you're going to think that that's a little weird. So it's like, if you're getting that impression of, this seems a little unusual, that he's going through all this effort, good. You should be asking those questions, because they will be answered. The twist ending is going to be all a dream. Funny enough, Ikajo, the reason why I wanted to write this story is that it came to me in a dream, unironically. I'm not even joking. This entire story came to me in a dream. I can't describe the dream exactly because it will spoil the ending. But just know, this did come to me in a dream. Cult? No, but you're onto something. But yeah, okay, so with all of that said, do you guys want to work on more kid names? I could pull up the names that I have. Yeah, this is what I got right now. And you can see, I grouped people together that are related. So it's like Winnoa and Jermaine are grouped together because they are related. Yeah, TBI just means traumatic brain injury for those of you that don't know that terminology. He's a little brain damage, but it's okay. We love him. Yeah, final lines like woke up to start like, well, that was a weird dream. Went back to sleep. It's all gotta be John. John Cooper. It's like, you know what? I could name the brother John Cooper just because. It's like, so I'm sure it's pretty obvious, but these 4 right here, they're the ones in charge of the livestock. They're all siblings. They're gonna get their spotlight in chapter 4. Cooper. It's like, if you're wondering who the hell these 4 siblings are, they're gonna get their own chapter in chapter 4 where you learn all about them. He's like, I was half asleep, or it wasn't from a dream. Yeah, you know. We also have I wrote in my notes helper, but they're really a watcher. Because, again, more questions are going to be brought up about how the town works, and the watcher answers one of those questions. I could even say right now, one of the questions you might ask is, okay, who's going to watch to make sure nobody, like, sneaks into town and tries to blow shit up? It's because they have a watcher to warn everyone. Yeah, the magic of writing is crazy. Yeah, I know. And then another question people is gonna ask is, who the fuck's plowing the fields? We got a plow guy. It's like, he's using sci-fi tech to do it, but he is a big, strong boy. 11-year-old watcher? Yes. Unironically. It's like, again, it's like, why are we having a kid out there all by himself watching stuff? Well, somebody's got to do it. Long. Like, yeah, maybe I'll just name the one brother John Cooper, just unironically, for now. Just to be funny. But then we would need, like, the other 2 sisters. 3 sisters. 3 sisters. It's 3 sisters and a brother. John Pooper. So yeah, we have a guy. We got a brother. One brother has an eye patch. The other one's all like timid and shy and stuff. And then the plow. Yeah. So do you guys want to go over more names today, or would you rather just jump into chapter 3? I think I could do a poll. We can decide. Either way, we're gonna write chapter 3 at some point. I'll do a poll just so we can all have a say. It'll be a quick 60-second poll, so get ready to vote. Regardless, we will write chapter 3 together. It's just a matter of, do you want to do it now, or do you want to do names? I figure we'll at least do names for like a half hour. So we might not get all the kids' names, depending on how quickly we get through it. Because I see I'm already an hour in just recapping what I've written so far. Drink some water. Blow my nose. Alright, looks like names are winning. Like, if anyone else wants to vote, though, go ahead. I want to give you guys a chance to say what you want to do. Alright, names win. Alright, let me pull up the name website. Of course, it's gonna be a butthead. It's like, I just had Firefox open. It was just here. Okay, there we go. Probably because it's trying to look for the tab name or something. I don't know. Alright, so we want yeah, the names of the Cooper kids is gonna be the most important because they're gonna be in chapter 4. Today we're working on chapter 3, and we already have the characters named for chapter 3. It's gonna be about the adults. We're gonna switch perspectives for chapter 3. Basically, we're gonna switch to Santo's point of view for chapters 3 and 4. Chapter 5, we're gonna be in someone else's point of view, and then in chapter 6, we're going back to Russell. So, Russell gets to have a break for a few chapters to settle in. Yeah, so we need, yeah, because the Cooper kids, their job is they take care of the chickens, the ducks, the rabbits. So we need, like, a farmer name. George? Alright, I guess I'm naming the 5-year-old George then. Sorry, no John right now. Maybe I could name the plow kid George. Or John, I mean. Domofang, welcome! It's like just in time to brainstorm names. Teddy? Yes. I mainly want names for the girls. It's like there are 3 girls that feed the chickens, clean, scoop up the rabbit poop. We need girl names. We need lady names. See, getting a lot of George variations. Oh god, we're getting a lot of George variations. Maybe I will make the one kid John and then just maybe make one girl Georgina. Georgina's a nice name, and it's the feminine word for George. Kakashi Take. Oh, goodness. What even is the meaning of the name Bertha? Bright? I could actually have a character be named Bertha, unironically. Ryda's a good name? What's that mean? Oh, no, it doesn't know it. Let me Google in another tab. Because I'm cheesy. Rose petals still on still water. Ooh, that's fancy. Means flowers and sunshine. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I like it. Okay, so maybe I will have a kid be maybe I will have the boy be John, and then we could do Georgina. Yeah, it's like we have a 3-year-old, we have a 12-year-old, and we have a 7-year-old. Um Oh yeah, Fang, you don't know what's going on. I'm writing a book, and so we gotta name characters. Anthes and these these nuts. Like Google help. Like usually this website's good for looking up names, but sometimes it's like I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's like, what do you mean that's a name? Oh, the period when a flower opens and parts for pollination. Oh, well, that's what Google told me. So like, a blossoming woman, but it's like, who would name Antes? It's like I that doesn't sound like a very natural name though. See, we have Gina. That's also I don't want to have another G though. Gina with a J. Oh god. Jordy with the shorts. George with a J. I'm just getting variations of George. Oh my god, stop. Yorick, that's another alternate version of George. No! Stop! Amber's a good one, yeah. Yeah. I like Rydia though. I might actually use that. Rydia. Rydia Cooper. Rydia Cooper. Rydia Cooper. Name Joey and give him a pet rat. Could just go with some as nicknames. Like, yeah. Well, some of them do have nicknames. Like the plow is called the plow. But it would be nice if you had like an actual name, because like I said, I do plan on making official art. That shows like who they all are. Like a billboard. Huh, Amberstone. Yeah, actually, let's go with like flower names or animal names or. Is there a name for chicken? Just to be silly. There's names for hen. Oh my god, names for hen. What's Gallus? Rooster. Gala. Oh, but that's another like G name. But at least it's not a variation of George. Piper. What was the name of the rat in that old D&D computer game? I wouldn't know. Gala Cooper. I don't know how I feel about Gala Cooper. That does sound a little weird. Name one of them dog. It's like Dog Cooper. Piper? It's like It's like Piper? I mean, there is the legend of that Piper that like herds the rats, and they are animal handlers. I like it. You know what? Okay, I think I'll go with Piper. Piper Cooper. I think that sounds good. All right. It's like, all right, the Cooper kids are done. So next we need the Watcher. We need our ever watching eye. Flip. Lucy. All right, we're done with the Cooper girls. We're moving on to a boy, an 11-year-old boy who is a watcher. Let's see, Belzena. Timothy. Like Tiny Tim. Honoring God? Ooh, yeah, that's a biblical name. Timothy. We could have Timothy be his first name, and then his last name could mean Watcher. I already did Edward in another story. It's like I was looking up this word. I'm like, wait a minute. Halvard? Timothy Halvard. How do you pronounce that? I don't know how to read that. Mason? Yeah, little Timmy. Name him something that means hawk or eagle. Mason. Stoneworker. Maybe. Let's see. Name that means hawk or eagle. Let's try hawk. Aster? We've got Kirk? Or is that... It's like... How do you... It's like somebody's up like, how do you pronounce this? Lautaro? Not sure how you pronounce that. I Googled it. Midseek was a ranger and Boo was his pet rat. Oh, okay. It's always a K sound, so it is Kirk. And Cersei would be Hawk. So Timothy Kirk? Timothy Kirk. I think that's good. Kirk-A? Probably, yeah. Yeah, we'll go with Timothy Kirk. It's like, I'll go with the K variation, which seems to be just Kirk. Maybe it is Kirk-A. Timothy Kirk-A. That works. Kirk-A? So, an E sound? Kirk-A? I keep thinking Kirk as in, like, Captain Kirk. You know what I mean? Like Star Trek. That's what's messing me up, is I'm reading it as something else. Sephiroth. Like, I don't need Square Enix up my ass. Clive. It's like, I'm good with, I'm gonna pronounce it Kirk, even if Greek-wise it might not be Kirk. Or Kirk-A. Timothy Kirk-A. Clive. Chive. Timothy Clive. Cliff? Ooh, that would actually be, like, good foreshadowing for his character arc. Ooh. That's... I can't tell you why that's foreshadowing. Timothy Clive. All right, final answer. We're locking it in at Timothy Clive. Next, we need, we got two brothers. One is a tough guy with an eye patch, 13 years old. And then we got his younger brother, who's the softie of the two. So we'll go with tough. It's like he's got like the tough one's got like an eye patch. He's like, he tries to be all cool and tough. Yeah, exactly. He got bitten by a radioactive cliff and became Cliffman. Exactly. It's like, you already know the ending, Ikajo. You already know the end. Let's see. Like so many A names, B names. I'm like, I try to avoid giving like too many characters with too many letter names. I think we're okay though. Calling him Kai Klopp is probably too on the nose. Let's see. Maybe a D name? Have I gone crazy with D names? I don't think I've done a D name. D's nuts. No, I don't have any names that start the letter D. Dino? Dino Spumoni? Dick? uh, Desmond? Desmond. South Muster? Huh. Yeah, especially if he's a diehard. Yeah. Diet hard. Dennis. Dennis the Menace. Yeah, it's like he's got like an iPad. He's tough. It's like he's like, I might be 13, but I've seen some shit, man. Like, it's like, is there any meaning to this name? It's just the French form of Dionysus. Dionysos. Like, I'm trying to get a fucking meaning here. It just means Zeus. It's like, oh god, that's a rabbit hole. Yeah, it's like Dennis the Menace. You know what? I might just call him Dennis just so I can make that joke. Yeah, it comes from Dionysus. That's so fucking weird. Alright, what about his soft, tender brother who's like, oh, Nichan, yamete. Yeah, the Greek god of wine and party. Yeah. So I'll just type soft. He's soft. Yeah, God. And then I wind up getting fucking girl names. I want a boy name. This is a boy. We need a soft name for a soft boy. Dietland. It's like, what's the opposite of Diet hard? Dietland. Thanks, German. Also, ritual dismemberment, mad and sounding. Yeah, the gods did a lot of things. I'm getting a lot of female names. I want like a gentle, tender, manly name. Siegfried. Victory and peace. Yeah, everyone would just call him Sig. If that was the case, everyone would be like Sig. Sigurd? Dennis and Sigurd. I could make that their last name, because it means victory and peace. So, I might make that their last name. Siegfried. If I can fucking spell. It's a first name? No, it's fine. Dennis Siegfried? That sounds like a name, doesn't it? Corn. It's like corn for the cornflake homunculus. If I type like gentle? You guess what? You don't like it? Clement? Oh, but that's like Clement. Clement! Merciful, gentle, Clement. I like Clement. I don't think I've gone crazy with C names either. I have Chaz. I think that's it. We don't need to do every letter of the alphabet. I also have Siri. I might change the assistant statement. I don't know. What else do we got here? A bunch of Korean names. Spelling Clement with a K. Like, give me the boy names. Modest? Huh. Yeah, wine and party after the peace victory. William? I've done William. We have William already. Any Tylers? Tyler. Tyler of Roots. It's literally just Tyler. They do the Tylers. Wesley. Woodland clearing. I could do Wesley for the plow then. Cause meadow, woodland clearing for a guy that works on the plow? We could make that guy Wesley. Whether that winds up being his first or last name, we'll find out in a minute. Frederick. Peaceful ruler. Ooh! Yeah, just call him Fred. We'll go with the more modern spelling. Frederick. Dennis Siegfried and Frederick Siegfried. I think that sounds okay. All right, so for the last name, we're locking it on the last name. And again, I can always change these names if I'm not happy with them. I already changed the mechanic's name after our last stream, if you noticed. For the last person, he is the plowman. He's 16 years old. He plows the fields. Did you make it Mick Janik? No, I looked for mechanic names and I found Talus, which literally means mechanical man. And he is a creation of that one god Hephaestus or whatever his name is. So it's Talus Hefson, as in son of, that Greek god. Sometimes I get weird like that. Talisman. Yeah. So let's see. Carson. Unknown meaning. Let's see. Maybe the variations might help. No, they don't help. Yeah, that one. That one's zilch. Curtis. Curtius? Wesley Curtis? Wesley Curtis. I think that works. All right. Let me show you what I got. Like I said, this is not set in stone. I could always change it. I got one John in there. But yeah, this is pretty much everyone's names. And yeah, like I said, you could see I changed the mechanic's name. All right, so I think that should be everyone, hopefully. Let me count just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Plus Judas. Judas makes 18 because number symbolism. Because I'm that fucking obvious. Is this story reminiscent to the Greek lore? Is the key the meaning of the names of their purpose? It's like, no, their names are just meant to be symbolic. That's it. So it's like having the girl who likes books having her last name be Booker. It's because she likes books. When Noah and Jermaine are brother and sister, their names literally mean brother and sister. I'm not joking. Yeah, symbolic of not much at all. Exactly. It's like just giving them a name that has a meaning so people can Google it up and be like, oh, that's cool. That's neat, I guess. It's symbolic. Blah, 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 blah. It's not that deep. It's not that deep. That's why I'm like, it doesn't have to be like perfectly summarizing who they are or anything. Like it could be a little off. It could be vaguely connected. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like Nina Pepper, Pepper's obviously a food and she cooks. Nina is a name that has many different definitions, but one of them was fire. You know, cooks use fire. So Nina Fire. Nina Pepper. She cook with the pepper. Yeah, like calling a plumber John, you know, John Plumber. But yeah, like I said, it's not that deep. I think it's safe for me to close Firefox for now. Yeah, so I'll save this, and we can now work on chapter 3. All right. Get my Word doc out. Yeah, so like I said, the main goal of this chapter is we're switching to Santo's point of view. Since we're third person, we can literally just say, hey, we're in Santo's point of view now. So we don't have to go crazy there. So the main goal of this chapter is to introduce all the adults. So we're basically going to get a little day in life of Santo when he's not at the sanctuary. We're going to have him. The idea is that he goes to Glamour to see the mechanic, Talus. And he's also going to go see his friend Freya. Because, you know, they're friends too, the hostess lady. And I was thinking we could also have him converse with Edgar as well. It's like the idea, it's going to answer the question of who are the main adults involved in the story and how is he getting all this money to fund all this shit that he's doing? Because it's like, oh, hey, he's running a sanctuary with just kids. Where the fuck is he getting money for this? Especially since, you know, one of them has fucking robot arms. How did he get the money to do that? How is he keeping up maintenance for that? Etc. So he's killing and robbing millionaires. No, just exploiting them. It's like close, but not quite. All right, so the hardest thing for me to write every fucking time is that opening sentence. Once I have an opening sentence, I can write, but I always find myself just sitting here for like 10 minutes being like, what's my opening sentence? Committing tax fraud. It's like, we're in the middle of a war. Who cares about taxes? That's meant to happen in the scene? Like, what do you mean? Like, what I'm supposed to write? Yeah. Because I was like, first I gotta make it establish this is Santo's point of view. We're switching to Santo. So that's gonna be like my big opening sentence. Domo Koi, welcome. No, LOL's not League. I've never played LOL. I don't know anything about LOL. I've had friends who have played LOL and they've told me the horror stories, but nah, I don't know anything about LOL. It was meant to be like a joke. Like, oh, we're talking about writing friends, LOL. But yeah, Domo, hello, how you doing? I just spent the last hour and a half talking about what I've been writing so far, and now I gotta write a new chapter, and I'm just sitting here like, oh god, what do I even write? The game for masochists. So I've heard. Again, I don't know anything. I've never played it. I don't know a single thing. Yeah, League players be like, don't play League. So what's meant to happen in the scene? It's meant to be him going to Glamour. It's like, we introduced the sanctuary, we gave an idea of what that looks like, and we've mentioned Glamour. So the idea is that he's going to Glamour to do some work, because he's got to get some shit done there. He's got to check in. He's got to talk to the mechanic to come over to the sanctuary. He's gonna see his friend Freya, because they're BFFs, and he's also got to do business with Edgar. So that's Glamour is the name of the city, the closest city to Nevertown. Again, the game is hell, yeah. Again, the name is supposed to be on the nose. And I will describe, it's like speaking of games that are hell, it's like I do plan on describing it being like, yeah, it's like one of those video games where everything's brown. Like those games in like the 2010s, but like, why are all the games brown? Like poop. It's got the poop filter. Yeah, welcome to Glamour. Yeah, let's see. Santo was yeah. Don't almost said it good. Welcome, you heard poop. No, I was just talking about like in video games, there was like a period of time where they all had the poop filter for some reason. Santo was a very busy man who needed to be in a lot of places at once. I don't know, that might be it. I could always change the opening sentence if I don't like it. Reality's brown, yeah, if you're colorblind. My throat's full of boogies. Oh yeah, it's like yeah, the Cosmic. I don't know if you noticed the quality of my sound changing or if it sounds exactly the same, but my mic cable did come in and I did plug it in. So this is what you're hearing is the new mic cable. And then it was gray. Thought it was a very busy man who needed to be in a lot of places at once. Fortunately for him, he was also a person who had a lot. Nah, I don't like that. Fortunately for him, he had just as many connections to rely on to assist him. Yeah. Yeah, give her a shout. Like, yeah, Sato was a very busy man who needed to be in a lot of places at once. Fortunately for him, he had just as many connections to rely on to assist him. A shoot. But yeah, I've played Zero Escape. Great games. It's like I was lurking earlier. I saw you playing. Had the booba lady in it. So I hope you're having a good time with that game of Seneca. Unfortunately, we had just as many connections to rely on to assist them. Often, though, it would require him to make a 2-hour round trip in his Jeep. Should I describe the Jeep? Is camo Jeep? Is that how you would describe like those Jeeps that are like they have like the camouflage and stuff on them? Like one of those military Jeeps, so like a camo. I think that's the right word. Wait. Oh no, did I disconnect? Yeah, this is for a story. We're typing in stories. Okay, looks like I didn't disconnect. I think I just froze for a second. Them heckin' frames be dropping. Yeah, because it's like, obviously he would have a car, because Glamour's like 50 miles away. So, assuming you are going straight down a dirt road with no obstacles or turns or traffic, and going at like 60 miles an hour, I would assume it would be a 2-hour round trip. Does that sound correct? I don't drive a car. I'm disabled, so please tell me I'm wrong. If I'm wrong. Dropping frames like I drop bars. Yeah, right. Often though would require him to make a 2-hour round trip in his camo Jeep to Glamour. Like, I don't know, I don't drive, I live in a walkable city. From what to where? Yeah. From Nevertown to Glamour. Like I said, Glamour is the closest city to Nevertown by 50 miles. Yeah, so we're in chapter 3. It should still be pinned. I don't know if it's pinned anymore. For some reason, Twitch's pins don't feel like working. But I could just... Can I paste the link again? Okay, I still have the link. There you go. Yeah, 50 miles. It's like, it's just 50 miles of dirt and rock and possibly bandits and all kinds of terrible things. Actually, I should probably explain why he doesn't normally get jumped. Do you think that the intro is a lot of telling, not showing? I always thought it was a good idea to have characters not in their head so much, and instead they should be with other characters so they could talk about the thing that's happening so the information be told more organically. I did that all last chapter! I'm like, I need to like, yeah, it's like Santos complained to another driver about the drive, or maybe he likes driving and tells someone about it. 75 is roughly an hour. Yeah, that's what I figured. No, it's okay. It's a good question to ask, but like, I did all that natural talking stuff the last 2 chapters. Like, literally all of the exposition in the last 2 chapters was through dialogue. I've gotta like... It's like, something's gotta give, and so it's like, just for the sake of brevity, and just being like, here it is as it is, it's like, I'm just gonna say outright, it takes him 2 hours to get from Nevertown to Glamour. He could bitch about it later. Like, you are right. Of course, you can naturally just weave that in the dialogue, but I'm just choosing not to, because I don't feel like it. You are right, though. You are right. They have a max of 60 miles per hour, and that speed, they are scary. Yeah. Yeah, so if he's riding a Jeep, 50 miles, to and back, a total of 100 miles. Like, how long would it take him? I would think 2 hours round trip, but if I'm wrong, correct me. It's like I could always lower the amount of distance as well. I could make it more like 40 miles away. Account for the time he spends it. Oh yeah, no, these are fucking day trips. It's like, these are day trip. These take him like most of the day. So like, kids often don't see him till like dinner time if he does a trip like this. In fact, I was thinking of mentioning that. If he's got down to a science. Yeah, no, actually. You guys are bringing up very good points. The glamour. It helped that he traveled on government's roads to keep dangers to a minimum, but you could never be too careful. Yeah, so the question of why does he never get jumped by bandits? He travels on government roads. So he made sure to familiarize the ideal route to his destination that didn't overlap with gang territory. Is this the first draft or could this be the final draft? I have no idea. I could always go back and edit this later. It's like a first draft. No bandits mess with government roads? Nope. But he does say you could never be too careful. It's like when I introduce Edgar, I'm probably gonna elaborate a little more on the government stuff. Because Edgar is the government guy. He's like, gentlemen, I love war. Memorize? Oh yeah, memorize might be a better word actually. You're right. Memorize. To memorize the ideal route to assassination that didn't overlap with gang territory. Do they have a weapon? Great question. Familiars is nonsense in this context. You have a point there. It's like sometimes I think of one word and then instead of thinking of that word, I think of a different word that's similar but not the word I'm supposed to be using. Like that happens a lot. It's probably autism. His disarming smile, yeah. Why is my nose so boogie? You use malloprofims. That's a word I've never heard before in my entire life. The rusty, because now I want to describe glamour. The rusty gate entrance to glamour always brought him relief and let him finally loosen his hold on the weapon he carried on him during his trip. It's like, what weapon? I haven't thought that far yet. Yeah, you really need to get hooked on phonics. Yeah. Yeah, the rusty gate entrance to glamour always brought him relief and let him finally loosen his hold on the weapon he carried on him during his trip. It's like, what weapon? I don't know. What kind of weapon would some? It's like we're going through like gangs and shit in the fucking Middle East. What would he carry? Yeah, I bet he's got a silver Glock. He keeps in the Vatican. I probably shouldn't. It's like I'm tempted to make it a Glock just because he brought that up. And he is a bit of a religious man. More realistically, an AK. Yeah, probably an AK. It's like he wears very loose robes. It's like in the desert, you gotta wear like loose robes, like stuff that'll cover you enough to protect you from the sun, but isn't like heavy. So I don't know how limited he is on carrying weapons. If it's like, so if he could conceal it, that would probably be better. Otherwise, I could just normalize weapon handling and glamour. Depends what you guys think. Because it's like, it ain't safe out here. It's like, it's like, you can only be protected so much. An AK or an AK clone. Yeah. I don't think weapons have a copyright. So I can say an AK. Loosen his hold on the AK. I can literally just say that. I don't know if there's like a specific AK, or I could just get away with saying AK. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is the AK-47, which I'm familiar with. I could just say AK-47. Weapons are copyrighted. Are they? I guess they are. But I don't know. I think I could get away with it. Then I'll just say AK and not mention the numbers. And then I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's a type of rifle. I could say it's a rifle. It's a firearm, right? Assault rifle? We'll just say assault rifle. Assault rifle. There we go. No copyright. There we go. Problem solved. AKA-47. Yeah. We'll just say assault rifle then. Just not have to worry about it. The rusty gate entrance to Glamour always brought him relief and let him finally loosen his hold on the assault rifle he carried on him during his trip. Yeah, so how I'm picturing Glamour in my head is that it's supposed to be a sci-fi city, but it's fucking trash. Hence the irony of it being called Glamour. Yeah, we're moving on from that subject. So now I just gotta think to myself, how do I want to describe this fucking shithole? He would drive past the latest and greatest of architecture. That's like, I totally spelled that wrong. What's the correct spelling? Architecture. Glass towers, beautifully crafted to curve up to the heavens. Which had certainly seen better days. Yeah, glass towers, like, ew, gross. Like, well, when you think of like sci-fi cities, like, you think like you think like fancy shit. Glass towers beautifully crafted to curve up to the heavens, which had certainly seen better days. Now cracked and collapsing. Down back to Earth. He would drive past the latest and greatest of architecture, glass towers beautifully crafted to curve up to the heavens, which had certainly seen better days, now cracked and collapsing down back to Earth. Does that sound grammarly correct? Huh, I don't know. Yeah, we drive past the latest and greatest of architecture, glass towers beautifully crafted to curve up to the heavens, which had certainly seen better days, now cracked and collapsing down back to Earth. Between days and now. Yeah, you're right. I was like, something seemed wrong. You're right. Okay. I think I fixed it. Earth. The brown, dirty streets. Mosaic of spider web cracks wrapping around the glass towers, which seemed prepared to topple over any moment. I'm stealing that. It's like, if you'll let me, I'll steal that. I actually like that. If my cursor will work. For some reason, it doesn't want to work on Word. Yeah, actually, what we'll do is, we'll put a period here. Please do. Mosaic. Mosaics of spiderweb cracks wrapped around them. Prepared to collapse back down to Earth. So, like, we'll fuse the sentences together. Mosaics of spider cracks, of spider web cracks, spider pig. Mosaics of spider web cracks wrapped around them, prepared to collapse down back to Earth. So yeah, I think that pit. Yeah, so you would drive past the latest and greatest of architecture, glass towers beautifully crafted to curve up the heavens, which had certainly seen better days. Now mosaics, sonics. Now mosaics of spiderweb crabs wrapped around and prepared to collapse down back to Earth. So it's like we have the visual of going up to the heavens and then coming back down to Earth. Like, yes, thank you for that. It's like, I stole half of that, but I was like, let me just work it a little bit to make it my style. Appreciate it. Collapse everything. Prepared to collapse everything down back to Earth. The brown, dirty streets contrasted with the sleek neon cars that, because again, this is like sci-fi future stuff. Sleek. It's like, are the fucking Tesla bot cars gonna be in this future? Maybe. Sleek neon cars that pass by. And the people were just as they already lost their lead. How futuristic is this world? Not super, maybe like a decade or two. And if people were just as Just as it's like the idea is that some people are fancy and some people look like bumps. So sci-fi New York. So nothing too wild. No, this is like slightly alternate universe where agriculture is highly advanced that children can do it. Oh yeah, it's gonna be car centric, obviously. Or just as like I want to use the word contrast, but I'm like I just used that word. Well, I'll put a placeholder and then delete it. With those in fancy suits walking past the disheveled opposed? The people were just as opposed? Because the idea is that it's like, this town is like a contradiction. And then it's like, oh, we have the latest and greatest technology, but it's all like broken and falling apart. And there's like rich people walking with the poor people. Walking past the filthy, tattered, vagrants. Yeah, so the brown, dirty streets contrasted with the sleek neon cars that passed by, and the people were just as opposed with those in rich, fancy suits walking past the filthy, tagged vagrants. You have a massive bike path through the center of the middle with a glass roof. That's an IRL proposed plan to buy. Yeah, you know, since it's a futuristic place, I'm sure they could figure something out. But I'm trying to picture that in my head. I'm like, no cover. Yeah. Or have it as a failed product and nobody uses it because it kills anyone who dares. Ooh, yeah. Shattered remnants of a former bike path. Anyone who does, yeah, does not dares. My brain filled in the blank. Shattered remembrance of a former bike path. Littered the streets and forced drivers to squeeze together to get around. So there was a bike path, but it's broken and now everyone else has to deal with it because it hasn't been cleaned up. How's that sound? How long is the road they plan on making? This trip is 50 miles. 100 round trip. Maybe mention the glass? Okay, shattered glass remnants. Okay. You're right. I should describe what kind of shattered glass remnants of a former bike path littered the streets and forced drivers to squeeze together to get around. Thank you for the follow, Domo. Welcome. Yeah, so I think I've built my paragraph. It's like we got the rusty gate, We got architecture that's falling apart, even though it's supposed to be brand new. Yes, Pet Kitty, hello, welcome. IRL Kitties, pass the fuck out. And it's like we've got we've got the streets, we've got the cars, we got the people. I think this paints a decent picture of bumfuck Phil. Can you post a very funny video? No. We have a Discord for that. Not as the first thing you do, correct. Yeah, no. Like, well, I appreciate you asking rather than doing it, so. No, sorry, we don't, it's like, this is not a React channel where people can throw shit at me to watch, sorry. It's like, we're doing boring things like writing books today. The first time you see someone work through if they allow me to, I just subscribe. Okay, that's fair. Well, unfortunately not. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, it would need to be vetted. No, I would like look at it in advance before showing it probably. Okay, bye. It's like, I gotta book the right. I can watch funny videos later. But, yeah. Okay, so let's have him go to the mechanic. I want him to establish the mechanic first because they are BFFs. He parked his Jeep in the garage. Well, let's say he pulled up his Jeep into the like, he's a mechanic, so I'm like, what would you even call that? Like, when you go to one of those auto places to like park your car so they can work on your car, like, what do you call that? He pulled up his Jeep into the yeah, I was thinking just garage. We'll just say garage then. I might be overthinking it. I didn't know if there was like a specific name. Pull his Jeep into the garage of the auto repair or the machine. It's like his thing is that he could fix anything. The machine repair shop. We'll just say machine repair shop. He pulled up his Jeep into the garage of the machine repair shop. I gotta fix that typo earlier too. I gotta remember that. He pulled up his Jeep into the garage of the machine repair shop. Yeah, this is where Mick Janik lived. Yeah. Yeah. Which also, like, that's probably gonna be telling. Because I was just gonna be like, yeah, this is where the guy lives. Jumping out and walking straight inside without hesitation. Like, the idea is that he comes here like all the fucking time. I don't know how to word that. It's like, if I can't fix it in a machine, yeah. Walking in straight inside. if I can't fix it in a machine thing, I'm gonna make a note of that. I like that idea, but maybe not as a sign. Yeah, highly frequented. This could be a stomping ground or habitat. Yeah, it's like I just want to like that whole showing versus telling thing. I want to show that he like and walking straight inside. I don't need to overthink it. Just jumping out and walking straight inside. The man at the now we have to describe his now we gotta describe the mechanic. Yeah, he pulled his Jeep up into the garage machine job, jumping out and walking straight inside. The man at the counter ruffled his short, sandy blonde hair as he... Oh, thank you for the follow, Domo, welcome. Is he a prankster? No. He's very serious. He's super serial. In fact, it's like, as he held a cigarette in one hand and his cell phone in another. His face scrunched up while talking with the person on the other line. There we go. Is that a trope? No. Well, I do know that there's like some shows where like the mechanic character is like weird or quirky, like in She-Ra. I remember the mechanic in that show being weird. Yeah, the man at the counter ruffled his short, sandy blonde hair as he held a cigarette. I should probably specify it's between his fingers. Between his fingers in one hand. Tropes, it's like tropes are tropes, I guess. I don't know. Welcome to Papa's Roadkill Barbecue. You kill it, we grill it. His face scrunched up while talking with the person on the other line. Yeah, kitty? Did you wake up from your nap, kitty? Oh my goodness. Like, no, he's serious. Hi, kitty. Who wants to pet kitty? Kitty's awake. What do you want, kitty? Yeah, you can pet kitty. Yep, synchronized cat petting, yippee! Oh, let me make sure. Okay. So, yeah, kitty, you're gonna distract me while I'm writing? Mwah, right, kitty? Mwah. Yeah, if you have a sticky butt. He knows, he doesn't care. Yeah, the man at the counter ruffled his short, sandy blonde hair as he held a cigarette between his fingers in one hand and his cell phone in another, his face scrunched up while talking with the person on the other line. Hopefully that sounds correct. If it's a machine, I can fix it. The man said, I'm not a damn plumber. Call someone else for your literal shit problems. But I'm not a damn plumber. It's like someone's got a clogged toilet. He's like, I can't do that. For your literal shitty problems? Call someone else for your literal shitty problems. I don't even have to say literal. I could probably cut that out. It's like, haha, very punny. Call someone else for your shitty problems. Like, haha, probably talking about a toilet. It's full of shit. Haha, funny. And then what color did I make his eyes? I wrote down everyone's eyes. And hair color, because I wanted to make sure I didn't, like, accidentally give everyone blue eyes or something. Right, Katie? We don't want to give everyone, like, blonde hair and blue eyes, because that would be weird. Green eyes pierced through oval glasses. Well, they're more like oval goggles. No. Oval. Well, I guess it could just be glasses. Domo Vibe guy, welcome. Doing some writing stuff. How you doing? Like trying to write the 3rd chapter of my book. Got 300 words so far. So far, so good. I got the feeling this is probably going to be another, like, 2,000 word chapter. I'm just going to be like, ah! The contest is going to say my chapters are too long. Right, Kitty? I write too much? Yeah, green eye gang. I was looking up the statistics, and it's like, green's actually pretty rare. And what a lot of people consider to be green is actually hazel. There's actually a difference. You don't feel sleepy, so you're just vibing? Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we've just been working on writing stuff. Here's through oval glasses to see Santo. Strolling up and around like he lived there. There you go. It's like there we go. Now that's how I can show that he like comes here all the fucking time. He walks around like he lives here. It's like up and around the counter. Around the counter. He walked around the counter. It's like, who the fuck does that? Yeah, it's like hazel is like brown with like a little green in it. Some people will be like, oh, I see green. That must mean I have green eyes. But yeah, it's like actual green eyes is only like 1 or 2%. So it's like, I set it up so only like 2 characters have green eyes. Everyone else has like brown or blue or something. Or hazel. So it's like, once I saw that, I was like, all right. It's like, I can't have like 5 characters with green eyes because that's statistically impossible. Hazel, though, we can do a whole bunch of hazel. And a bunch of blue. Blue's actually a lot more common than I thought. I thought blue was rare. Blue is actually like the 2nd most common eye color. Brown's number 1, obviously. And black is just a darker variation of brown. The rarest, though, is gray. Gray is like super rare. And then you have the one tribe that's like purple. Yeah, kitty? Alright, I gotta... Goodbye, kitty. You're being shitty. So yeah. Like, just things I have to research. When you have so many characters, it's like, you gotta just be careful, I guess. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so... The man smirked and... oh god, a grammar problem. Hung up the phone without another word. Ignoring The yelling on the other end. He doesn't give a shit. Like, that's what I'm getting across. It's like, he doesn't care. Like, why should he care? He's not a plumber. He's not Mario. Yeah, gray, red, lavender. Yeah, they exist. They're just, like, super, super rare. Santo, buddy! The man. Proclaimed? Is that, like, too much? Is, like... I don't know if that's the right word to use. Yeah, it's a defect. Yes, that's about right. In a much livelier tone. Compared to the customer. Santo, buddy! The man proclaimed in a much livelier tone compared to the customer. Proclaimed is a bit much. Should I just say said? There's nothing wrong with using the word said, but it's like, I just use said. If I ever feel like reading, is there a link? Yes, I have a link. It is here. Exclaimed. I meant exclaimed. You're right. I did mean exclaimed. Oh my god, how did I forget that word? That's so buddy! Exclamation point. What can I do for ya? That's so buddy! What can I do for ya? Yeah, exactly. It's like sometimes you get tired of it. That's why I was like, I literally just had him say sad. It's like, I just had him say sad! Yeah, don't have him ejaculate their dialogue, but yeah, I was gonna post the link again. Because Twitch won't pin my messages for some reason. So you can read there what I'm working on. Or you could pin it, thank you. I don't know why it's being weird for me. What would you say is your writing strength? I don't know, dialogue? And when you have it as your third or fourth most common word in the story, you do get nervous. Yeah, no, I don't blame you. But at the same time, you don't have to be scared of it. Just mindful of it, that's all. It's like, don't avoid it, just be careful with it, that's all. Forgot to set it up on a timer. Don't worry about it. It's like, we're wrapping up anyway. Like, not yet, but, like, in, like, 20 minutes. Probably, like, 20 minutes. So by the time the pin dies anyway, well, that's probably when we're gonna end, so it'll be fine. So yeah, 20 more minutes of this. Probably. Like, no, I made sure to click end that stream, like I always do. It's like, no, when I said Twitch won't let it stay, I meant it in that I clicked manually end at the end of this, like, end at the end of the stream. I always check that off when I pin, and it's not working. Which is why I'm like, Twitch is probably broken, you know. Yeah, you know, they're unpinning my pins because they hate VTubers, you know. Like, hey, Talis Santo said. Like, we just use exclaimed. I could use said now. Say casually. Should I have him say hey? I don't know. I feel like with his friends, he's willing to be more casual, while with the kids, he'd be more professional. Yeah, they're messing with me. So I think I could just have him to be like, hey, buddy, what's up? While with the children, be like, hello, children. Good evening. Again, I don't know. Shrieks calmly, yeah. Maybe I will just have him be a little, just be like, hello. Hello, Dallas. I mean, that still that could still sound casual. Because that is the important thing, is establishing the language of a character in their dialogue so that you understand how they talk. Because some people speak very casually, some people speak very formally, some people are in the middle. So how a character talks does affect how they're perceived and their personality. So that is something important to consider. So it's like with Santo, I want him to be a good little boy, an angel of a man. Toquero Taco Bell. It's like, don't get Taco Bell then. I don't know what else to tell you. But anyway, it's like, hello, Talus. Need you to stop by never. Yeah, it's like, greetings and facilitations. It's like, what's good, my slime? Talus, I need you to stop by when you have the chance to fix the. We need something that's broken. To fix the tractor again. The watch? Watch what? Yeah, I'll stretch. Yeep. Oop. Maybe you stop by when you have a chance to fix the tractor again. Seriously? The man sighed as he put out his cigarette. You should talk. Geez, how do. You should talk that asshole into buying you a new one at this point. You've had it since the beginning, and knowing about, what's that thing called? Planned something. Plans, when things are designed to go out after a few years, what's that word? Yeah, show some leg. You should talk that asshole into buying you a new one at this point. You've had it since the beginning. Planned obsolescence, that's the word. Thank you. Planned obsolescence. $5 years sounds about right to get a replacement. So here's an important line of dialogue. You've had it since the beginning. 5 years sounds about right to get a placement. So beginning 5 years. It's like, that's that. So you're like, that should be ringing some bells. You know, like, wait a minute. So if he's had this since he started Nevertown, Nevertown's only 5 years old. Will it be elaborated on later? Yes. Yes, it will obviously be elaborated later, but just to set the stage, it's like, okay, this town's been around for like 5 years. Yeah, it's old enough to drink whiskey. Yeah. Actually, now that we've introduced Talus, I should stop saying the man. Talus sighed. Santo sighed along with him. You may be right. I'm just worried that with the old model outdated, getting a new model would mean having to teach the children, again, his language, having to teach the children, getting a new model would mean having to teach the children how to use it all over again. So yeah, another very important line is, you know, he's teaching the kids how to use this machinery. Might be faster this time, though. Wasn't the advanced farm equipment advanced enough for the children to use it easily? Yeah, but they still gotta push buttons. Newer model means less. Okay. It's like, I don't know why someone would come in here and to say that, but it's like, okay. Yeah, pushing the right button could be hard. It's like, yeah, if you have to... means less instructions. They dumb it down further every time. That is true. Thank you for the follow. Domo, welcome. Yeah, it's like, be careful what you wish for, kids. Alright, so now let's introduce his assistant. What does his assistant look like? Yeah, it's like, you always push the red button first. Exactly. Where am I? Let's see. Where is the assistant? Yep. As the two adults were conversing. Yeah, it didn't make sense to me either. As the two were conversing, a curious head of... Okay, so this is gonna be our third and final redhead. It's like, Russell's the first. He has more like an auburn kind of red hair, like dark red. Booker, Melinda Booker, the book girl, she has like carrot top orange hair. And this kid's gonna have like just bright red hair, and then that's gonna be it. No more redheads after this. I promise. Only three redheads in this story. Everyone else has either black or brown or blonde hair. Again, I took that into consideration because I was looking at statistics, but again, my brain like pictured certain characters looking certain ways, so curious head of it's like realistic color hairstyle, let's go. Bright red hair. Peeked out from the exit of the workshop. Curious head of bright red hair peeked out of the workshop. A pair of hazel eyes. Did I give this kid freckles? I think I gave this kid freckles. On top of freckles. Where's the blues and greens? They're there. You weren't here when I read the last chapter. There was some blue eyes in the last chapter. Santo has blue eyes. Oh, you meant hair colors. Oh no, this is not anime. I'm writing this on a fucking anime website, but we're not going that anime. It's like the most anime we're going is red hair because that's like an actual hair color. He's sitting on top of freckles. No, I don't like the sense. I'm gonna have to reframe it, but basil eyes, observing them with a freckled smile. Oh, does that sound okay? I don't know. Yes, the two adults were conversing. A curious head of bright red hair peeked out from the exit of the workshop, a pair of hazel eyes observing them with a freckled smile. I think that sounds okay. Maybe. I don't know. Dallas glanced over at the redhead whose movements were neither quiet nor subtle. Yeah, finished with the give him something to work on. That's actually a machine. You finish with the heater. Yeah. You finish with the heater? That's a machine. Talus asks the boy. The reverse his movements like tape being played backwards. Clearly caught. So the setting is a machine tinkering workshop type of place. Yes. It's like I think you pronounced that Siri. I forget how we pronounced it last time. But Talus and Siri run a repair shop. Talus is the guy who's in charge, and Sari is his assistant / apprentice. Clearly caught in the act. And forced to get back to work. Honestly, he said, you would think with his birthday coming up, he would mature a bit more. Said, is tiredly an adjective? I don't know. Tiredly? Alright, word's taking it. He'll be 18 soon, correct? Santo asked. Yep. Yes, languid, sluggishly. Sluggishly? It's like, the idea is that he's just, like, tired of his shit. Because he acts like a little brat sometimes. Yep. You won't shut up about being an adult soon. Kids, am I right? And all the things he'll do. Santo shrugged his shoulders. I wouldn't know. No one has really. Yeah, because like I want to establish the fact that none of the kids have turned 18. I wouldn't know. None of the children have gone to. None of the children have discussed that. Other than. Yeah, because it's like there's kids that are like, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I want to be an astronaut, and it's like, but like, Telus is specifically referring to when teenager. It's like there's a difference between a kid saying what they want to do when they're an adult, and there's a difference between like a teenager about to become an adult being like, yeah, I'm gonna college, I'm gonna get this job. Like it's like there's a contrast. None of the children are close to being prepared. Yeah, when you're a kid, you certain I would become a pizza baker. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I wouldn't know that the children are close to being prepared to even think about such things yet. Ah, right. Isn't the oldest like 16? Actually, we just brought in a boy who is 17. It he happens to have to be a have red hair. He happens to be red-haired as well, though much darker. Get out of town. Talus laughed and pulled another cigarette out of the carton, snapping his fingers together to ignite it. It's like, you're starting to space out how much is left. I want to, like, finish this scene, preferably. It's like, preferably, I would like to finish this scene, but let's see. Anyway, I can come over to fix the tractor tomorrow. Slapping his metal-tipped fingers together, like, ignite it with a spark. There you go. Like, you can visualize that however you like. I'm gonna leave that up to interpretation for the moment. Thank you. Santo then turned to leave. Eve, knowing his time was limited and precious, he could have a fun chat another day. I'm going to see Freya next. Should I send her your regards? Fucking lutely. I heard that is slapping his metal tits. Oops. Sorry about that. I meant tips. Tips with an S. With a P. Metal tipped fingers. He doesn't have tits on his fingers. Abso-fucking-lutely. It's like, abso-fucking-lutely. Unless his smirk grew, and he waved Sanso off. Or as he grew, as he waved Santo off. Yeah, melted is a funny way to say Pax. Nah, that's not what I meant, but that is funny. Tell us a smirk grew as he waved Santo off. It's like, abso-fucking-lutely. It's like, I want him to say goodbye, but I'm not sure if I want to say. Yeah, it's like, I mean, the writing process isn't all that glamorous. It's a lot of asking why and how. You are absolutely correct, Aviator, but hey. It's like, streaminess gets me to write, and you guys are helping me out a lot. So I appreciate that. Abso-fucking-lutely. Oh, Domo Crimson Wolf, welcome. Ow! Welcome. Thanks for the follow. Arigato. I'm just thinking of a word to like how I want him to say goodbye. Once I think of what to say how for Talus to say goodbye, I can finish this scene and then we can call it. I guess catch ya later, buddy. Just keep it short and simple. Santo. Yeah, just see ya. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, welcome to the comfy writing stream where everyone thinks metal tips is metal tits. I don't know. Smiled back before heading off to his next destination. To know their bond hasn't. Yeah, this is the Cringy Deloon channel. Yes, hello. Hasn't changed a bit in all these years. So it's like I'm basically implying that they're like longtime friends. All right, I think that's a good way to end it off. It's like he smiled back before heading off to sex station. Glad to know their bond hasn't changed a bit in all these years. Okay, I think we are good there. Good writing session. Good writing session. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, thank you all so much for coming. Next week is going to be a big week. Next week is my 2-year streaming anniversary. So I'm going to celebrate by doing lots of cool stuff. So if you like cool stuff, look forward to it. I will be posting the schedule on Twitter and my Discord. So pick and choose your poison. But yeah, like I said, appreciate you guys stopping by. Appreciate your inputs. It's like I know I can only do so much. Catland 2 when? Not yet, but so a character from Catland will make his well-deserved return in my birthday stream. That's gonna be after I come back from vacation. So next week we're gonna celebrate my 2-year anniversary. I'll try to join. Yeah, that would be cool because I'm gonna do like all kinds of stuff. Like karaoke and do like a watch along. With copyright-free movies. But yeah, next week we're gonna celebrate my anniversary. The week after that I'm going on vacation. And then after my vacation is my birthday. So, yeah. There's a lot to plan for. Let me see. Who should I raid? Actually, I was just talking about this person to a friend earlier, so you know what? We'll raid them. Yeah, glad you could stop by, Zilch. Yeah, glad you saw my Reddit post and came. Really appreciate you stopping by and providing some input. I think you actually managed to name a character. If so, congratulations. Alright, good night, everyone. Rest well. Eat your vegetables and, go unclog your toilet. Good night.